All right. Welcome back to the 10th episode of Cover to Cover. Can you believe
Really?
it's 10 episodes?
Really?
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
we started this thing in November? Beginning of November, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It is.
Winter just flew by. We had 60-degree weather this week up here.
It's been nice here.
Yeah.
It's been sunny and in the low 70s. No humidity, so it's really nice here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been chilly here too. Probably 55,
Oh,
mid
wow.
50s, low
That is
50s.
chilly.
Yeah. And we just got some rain too, which rarely ever happens here in San Francisco. But yeah, it just rained a couple days ago.
We got a little rain
Yeah.
here as well.
We had local creeks and stuff are up, the rivers up, because all that snow coming down from the mountains melting down, and they're up. So I was
I have
out
no
running
idea.
around.
I have
What's
no
that?
idea what you're talking about.
I was out running around earlier, and I went, "Holy crap, that creek is up!" But anyway, speaking of nice weather, what an appropriate album to be associated with that concept of nice weather.
Yeah.
Just a feel good type of album.
Yeah.
Slap this up there. Bridge Over Troubled Water from Simon and Garfunkel. This album came out in January of 1970 after having been recorded over a couple sessions in 1968 and 1969 at Columbia Studios B&E, CBS Columbia Square in LA. I wanted to bring up a little history on the duo of Simon and Garfunkel. They originally started out as Tom and Jerry. I don't know how many people know that, but it's just it's an interesting little thing. I wonder if maybe Warner didn't have a take issue with that. Say, hey, change that.
Yeah. I don't know if they would have gone as far or taken as seriously, I guess, if their name was Tom and Jerry.
Right.
Yes.
The album was produced by Paul and Art, along with producer Roy Haley, which between the three of them, they were able to produce this. I don't know what I want to say. Just a great album all around. Just the different styles that they brought to it.
Mm-hmm. So check this out. I was just looking this up right now on the fly because you mentioned Roy Haley, and I thought that his name was familiar as far as being a producer goes, but I think this was probably his most famous work, Bridge Over Troubled Water. But it says here that his father provided the singing voice for Mighty Mouse in the late 1940s.
No way.
Jerry cartoons. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a random fact right there, tying everything kind of back to Tom and Jerry.
So he sang it. His father did.
His father was the singing voice for Mighty Mouse in the late 1940s.
So he would sing, "Here I come to sing the day."
That's really cool.
Yeah. I thought his name was familiar for other producing works, but I guess he worked. It says here he worked with the Dave Clark Five and the Yardbirds.
Oh wow!
So
Okay,
yeah,
that's that's
pretty
Both of
pretty
those.
big names. Yeah,
yeah, that's some veteran work right there.
yeah.
Um, uh, he had uh, he had previously worked on the Bookends album, I believe, too, for Simon and Garfunkel. Um, so it makes sense that they would bring him back because that's a great album in itself as well. Um, and I read, I believe it was the Pitchfork. The Pitchfork article didn't really bring much to the table, information wise, more than what I read in there was quite a bit of information in the Wikipedia page. Whoever worked on that did a lot of research.
There's there.
But they had said that they where was it? The duo were known more for their folk harmonies and so forth. Things like Parsley, Sage, and Rosemary and Thyme, and Miss Scarborough Fair, rather. It said by Bookends in 1968, they were settling into themselves, losing their folk revival pretensions and emphasizing quirky production techniques to match the soaring vocals. 2 years later, Bridge did that album one better by revealing a voracious music vocabulary that spanned gospel, rock, R&B, and even classical.
Yeah.
And that's something you hear throughout this album. It's just insane, the different styles that they incorporated. And for the most part, that was Paul.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, what I was interested in discovering was their split, because they split up not long after this album. Their split wasn't like Beatle-esque split. There was
animosity,
no real arguments or anything like that. No turmoil. It was just that they wanted to concentrate on other things. Art was going into acting. They had done soundtracks, obviously, for The Graduate. There was another one that was mentioned, but he was working on the movie Catch 22. In fact, there was something, a video.
Yeah, wasn't he he was acting too, right?
Yeah. He was actually in Catch 22 with Alan Arkin and Charles Grodin. And I believe the Pitchfork article mentioned
I read that. I've heard, and this is something that I wanted to say when we were off stream, that I've heard that they broke up. I knew that they were together for a while and they broke up as far as the band goes, but I thought that they started to not like each other.
Yeah, there was some
differences, I guess you can say.
Differences opinions. They probably a lot of it was segued from they just wanted to do different stuff. And
because I've heard that even in their later performances, like you can tell that there's this resistance in their live shows.
I remember when they got, well, I don't know if they got back together for the concert in Central Park.
Oh yeah,
I remember that was massive. Just the whole everything surrounding Simon and Garfunkel, concert in Central Park, and it was, I think HBO carried it. Yeah, and it was like a big, huge monster event back in the day.
Yeah,
I think it was the early '80s, I believe.
Yeah, I think 81 or 82 or something like that. Wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that there was a big deal because I don't know that anybody had played something that big at Central Park, had they? Before that?
Don't know. I can't say for sure, but it was a big deal when they did. I
Yeah.
remember that, man, because I remember
Like you
HBO
said, it
was
was
working it.
right. It was televised and
Yeah.
yeah. Um and the ironically they had multiple reunions before that.
Hmm.
I think one in 72, one in 75. So they were still willing to work with each other,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's just like an on again, off again basis.
And do you know what number album this was for them?
Their fifth.
This was their
Was it the
fifth
fifth?
Their
fifth
fifth and
studio
last.
album.
Yeah,
That's what surprised me. I didn't know that this came out in 1970. It was their fifth album and it was their last album.
yeah,
That kind of I didn't I thought this was like 74, 75. I didn't know it was 1970.
yeah.
And it was their last album. That's crazy.
Well, see,
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of wondering too what year this came out. I didn't know it was 1970, but I kept thinking, I was like, man, especially those rock and roll songs that are in here.
yeah,
I was like, man, this really sounds like they're trying, like, or they're I don't want to say trying to sound like the Beatles, but definitely influenced by the Beatles.
right. Well,
It's like the rock and roll songs and the vocal harmonies that they do really kind of mimic that sound.
and you mentioned the Beatles. There's kind of a not really a close parallel, but there's somewhat of a parallel because this album and Bookends were kind of, well, maybe not. When was Bookends recorded? No,
Well,
no, Bookends was recorded. Never mind. Forget what I was just starting to say. Because the Beatles, Abbey Road and Let It Be. Abbey Road is actually their last album, but
Okay.
Let It Be was racked with production issues and so forth. So that's why it came out.
After.
Ended up being the last Beatles album, but I was thinking that some of Bridge had been recorded prior to Bookends, but
yeah.
that's not the case.
I mean, 2 years to write it and come out with it, it's a pretty long time.
Yeah.
The thing that I was very surprised is that they missed Woodstock because they were recording.
Really?
That's crazy.
Really? That is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Dude,
which
nuts.
Which
I
one
mean,
was it? They were.
it
was for
did
Bridge.
them well.
I'm sorry?
I was going to say it did them well because, well, you know, they were able to come out with a great album.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, bro, not playing Woodstock, God, I'm sure they must have been like, ah.
No, they're not the only ones because the Doors did the same thing.
Yeah, man. God. Yes, man.
I'm sure they're happy with how successful this album was.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be a great question if, like, you know, have you ever seen Paul Simon or Garfunkel, what they think about missing Woodstock to record this album? That'd be a great, like, little insight.
Yeah, they're probably over it, but how were you guys then when you missed it then? How long did that pain linger? If there was any pain, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's entirely possible they just didn't care.
Exactly. You don't know. That's just us talking because I think if it would have been us, we'd be heartbroken.
Yeah.
God, I could have gone and I didn't. Oh. Let alone playing there, you know, can you imagine? Guys, I had never heard this album before this week either. I suck.
I've never listened to this album either.
I had never.
I listened to the popular songs in this album.
Yes, I knew a lot of the songs.
Yeah.
And but I had never heard this album front to back, and I heard it probably like 4 or 5 times this week.
Yeah, I heard it, and like I'm glad that I'm talking about this album with you guys, because I wasn't too crazy about it.
Me neither. There's
but talking about it is making me want to go back and listen to it and appreciate it more, if that makes sense.
I like a lot of these songs, but there's one song that I knew before I went into it, and after hearing the album, I still do not like this song. That one song that we'll talk about later.
Okay.
But there's one song on this album that I adore. So I got both spectrums. I got one song that I really don't like, and I got another one that I just love it. I just love it. So it's kind of
cool. Beforehand, I was upstairs doing a final listen, and I skipped over, the big songs, and Ashley goes, "I like that song." I said, "I'm skipping over it because I know it by heart."
Yeah.
I said, I want to go through the deeper cuts.
Right.
That I don't listen to that often.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not the song I don't like. It's all right. If it is.
Those songs are in the overplayed realm, we'll say.
Yeah, I can count at least two of them, maybe 3 of them.
Yeah,
two real big ones.
2 real big ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can name them. We don't have to keep them.
It's not a surprise, right?
No.
We're acting all secretive.
Yeah.
Oh, here I can mention it. I can go back to my previous comment that was wrong, and technically it wasn't really wrong, because Simon admitted that it sounded like the Beatles' "Let It Be."
Yeah.
So he was comparing Bridge, the song Bridge, over troubled water, to the Beatles' "Let It Be," which I guess in certain aspects, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You kind of could hear it. I never thought about it until I read that article, the wiki, and they mentioned it. I had never thought about it until then, but now looking back, yeah, I kind of could see that it does. But I wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together.
The number of artists that have covered that song,
it's crazy.
Over 50 other acts have covered Bridge Over Troubled Water. I mean, it's a great song.
I just gotta say, that just shows you what my opinion means, because I cannot stand that song. I have never liked that song. I just can't. I just don't. But that just shows you what I know. People cover it. It's one of the greatest songs ever. I just never liked that song. I just never liked it.
That song came up on the Start Me Up show one year.
I just don't like that song.
It was number 1.
I know. I think I didn't like it then. I just never liked that song. I don't know why. I just never liked that song. It turns my stomach. It sucks.
My wife, when she was in chorus in high school, they used to do that one. She said that song is terrible to try to sing. She said it's difficult.
It's that's where he got the name. Yeah, that's where he got the name. It's originally a gospel hymn.
Yeah.
Bridge Over Troubled Water.
I cringe.
Well, and
it's not the greatest song. I agree with you. I can see why people think it's epic and amazing, because it's very full of sound.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but I can also see the other point where you're saying that you might not like that song, or it turns your stomach.
It really does, man. And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. It just does. But then there's another song that's way less popular on this album, and I heard it in a soundtrack of one of my favorite movies, and I freaking love it. I freaking love that song. That song. We'll talk about it later. But as we go down the tracks, but Bridge Over Troubled Water, man, I don't know. It's just it hurts.
Well, the interesting thing that I saw was Simon wanted Garfunkel to sing the lead on the song, and Garfunkel told Simon to sing in falsetto. It's like, what?
And that's so.
I feel like Simon and I feel Garfunkel is such a, I don't know. I can see Simon like doing all the work.
Yes.
Coming up with the mic, coming up with the music and everything, and like all the.
Well, and it even said that.
Yeah.
That he did the majority of the work because Art was basic, for lack of a better term, Garfunkel or Art wasn't there.
Yeah.
Either spiritually or physically. He just
and that brought along a different song on this album, which was cool.
Right.
Which is my favorite song on the album.
Can we say them? Should we say your favorite songs?
Mine is The Only Living Boy in New York. I freaking adore that song.
That is a great song.
I freaking love that song, man. Love that song.
The Pitchfork article mentioned that in regards to Zach Braff and how he sang it in something. I can't remember what it was.
He used it in Garden State, his movie Garden State.
That's it.
I adore that movie, and he used it in that freaking movie, and it fit the movie perfect. And that's where I don't think I had heard the song before then, and then after that I went back and saw who it was, and I was like, oh my god, this song's crazy good.
That's awesome. I think I've seen Garden State once. I think
the soundtrack's amazing. It's one of the best soundtracks, in my opinion. Love it.
I've never seen it.
It's a quirky film, but it's good. It's I enjoyed it a lot. The soundtrack is really good. I forget, there's this one main band that does most of the music, and I cannot remember their name. It's all right.
I find that.
I guess I'll share the cover. I mean, the cover it's not anything special. It's a duo. Whoops.
Mm-hmm.
It's a duo album cover. You know, it's who they were.
Very 60s feel right there, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It is kind of cool though. Garfunkel's like half hiding behind Simon.
Yeah.
And he's
Paul is so short, so
it makes sense, yeah. And you don't want to put him side by side.
But it's funny because look, Simon's looking off into who knows, and Art Gump is looking straight at you.
Right.
It is kind of cool if you.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just them.
And I tried to look up a story on this, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I'm wondering like if they're in New York or if they're in LA or England or where the picture was taken.
They better be like in the subway or something. They better be in New York.
Yeah.
You know what?
Who wears a scarf in LA?
Yeah.
True. Yeah, it wouldn't be cold. Yeah.
You know what, man? I had never paid attention to this album cover, and I think it's cool. Just Art Garfunkel just looking straight at you behind Simon like that. I think it's a cool cover. I had never paid attention to it until right now. I'm cool with it.
We don't need to worry about. We don't need to talk too much about that because there's not much to talk about.
Yeah, it's just a picture.
Raul just said what, you know.
I like it.
Kudos to the photographer.
We just want to go over the tracks.
Yeah. As far as production, I mean, like you mentioned, it was just produced by the artists. So it definitely, this album definitely has that sound of sort of creative freedom as far as them really pushing the envelope of how many instruments they can fit into a song, and things like that. So either Simon or Garfunkel, maybe it was one or the other, or one more than the other, but you can really it's Simon and Garfunkel. Like you wouldn't confuse this or these songs with anybody else besides Simon and Garfunkel.
No, that is a great point. You would not confuse this for somebody else.
Yeah. So we talked about Bridge Over Troubled Water. What do you think about that song, Donnie? That's one of the ones that you skipped over, right? As far as we've listened to so much.
I know it. I know it really well, and again, it was one of the. I'm pretty sure it was one of the big singles from the album too.
It won, I think, the Grammy Record of the Year. It was a massive song.
Yeah. So
it was huge.
This song actually won 5 Grammy Awards. The song alone.
Yeah.
It shows you what I know.
Well, it's not it is a flavored song, we'll say. And it's not everybody's flavor.
That's true, yeah.
There's other songs on the album that are the same way. They're I'm sure. I love El Condor Pasa.
I freaking love it as well, man.
Beautiful song.
It's great.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Set against a beautiful traditional Peruvian music, and that just, I love the story of that song and how he adapted English lyrics to it.
It's a phenomenal song. I love it.
Right.
I love it. And you know what was super cool listening to this album? It was like a precursor of where Simon was going to go with his music, the world music and everything.
Yeah.
Way later. And you saw it here, like all start on this. Well, I don't know about the previous albums, but definitely you see it here. Definitely you see it here starting. That song's great. Love it. Probably my second favorite song on this album.
Yeah, that song's cool. It's says here so I guess when Simon came out with this song, he didn't credit the writers. So they came and they filed a copyright lawsuit against Paul Simon because it said that this guy Armando Robles Godoy, his father wrote the song and he claimed copyright of the song in 1933. But it says, like you can almost imagine this happening. And it says that the court case was so peaceful. Think about Paul Simon. He seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh yeah, of course, I'll give you credit. Don't even question it. It was probably like, oh, my mistake. Let me go ahead and give you correct credits. And that's awesome because now the original songwriter can make some money off of it.
Right.
So it's good. It's funny how that happened.
Yeah, it's just
do we go on to the one of the ones that I think is
it's probably the most popular,
overplayed or most popular? Yeah.
Which one? Cecilia?
Cecilia, yeah.
I like Cecilia.
I mean, they were talking about Garfunkel and how he didn't want to withdraw from the movie, and they were kind of just they were doing some experimentations with sound, different objects, kind of like I can't think of the band.
The Beach Boys?
No, they're Peel Slowly and See was the box set.
What was it? What was the box set?
Lou Reed was in the band. I can't think of the name of the band.
Oh my God! I was listening to that today. Nico.
Oh, Velvet Underground.
Velvet Underground. Yeah,
Velvet Underground.
They did some of the same stuff. Just using random objects.
Mm-hmm.
A falling bundle of drumsticks is one of the things that they used. But when he was writing it, he just began with a random line, and that was, probably the most well-known line of it. You're breaking my heart. I'm down on my knees.
And it just went from there.
Yeah. The song was about Saint Cecilia, the patron saint of music, which I guess it fits perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, it is overplayed, but I do like that song. It is a cool song.
It's definitely got that Everly Brothers feel, which makes sense for a song that they covered for this album, which is Bye Bye Love.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that they always seem to fit that mold of the Everly Brothers. Simon and Garfunkel did. I felt, even though their earlier leanings were folk music, definitely with Bookends and this album, they sort of hit that stride, along with the Everly Brothers. So it makes sense that they would cover that song.
It says here for Cecilia, it says Simon played random notes on a xylophone, as those elements would be compressed in the final version to where it would not be audible whether or not they were correctly played.
I mean, that shows that era.
Yeah, experimentation, late 60s, 70s. The recording was really pushing the envelope on what you could do, and the Beatles did it the best. I feel like, it took advantage of it, I should say. And, every single band out there was trying to see what they could do with it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this was more acoustic in a sense, because they still have like the folky roots, so they're not adding like crazy synthesizers or anything like that. Like you said, it's just like random sounds. Like, what can we do with drumsticks falling? What can we do with hitting pots and pans and things like that?
Right.
So still very acoustic in nature.
Yes, definitely very folky.
Yeah. Keep the customer satisfied. I feel like that's one of the songs that they really try to bring out that Beatles sound.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely with the harmonies and
the harmonies. It really sounds like something they would do. The Beatles would do.
I like that song as well.
I like that song. I like the upbeats. I like the upbeat song.
Yeah.
It's good. It's got a great tempo.
Yeah.
Trying to think of the other song on here that's got a great tempo like that.
Oh, I think it's
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver, yeah.
I like Baby Driver as well.
Baby Driver, I think that's my favorite song on the album.
I like Baby Driver as well.
Yeah, it's got some nice guitar work on there too. It's a bluesy feel to it.
I like that they did a tribute to Frank Lloyd Wright, and it's a unique song because not a lot of people know who Frank Lloyd Wright is, and he was a famous architect, and he did some really obscure architectural feats. My brother-in-law was in, I guess you call it constructional trades and draft and design and stuff like that. And they did, when he was in college, they took trips to both Falling Waters and I forget the other place, but they're both in Pennsylvania, that were designed and built by Frank Lloyd Wright. And they're just the weird ways of that they did he did the structure of some of those. Like he said he's walking around this place going, how is this even possible? This defies the laws of physics, he says.
Really?
Nice. I did not know that. That's pretty awesome. Kudos to Frank Lloyd Wright. He was able to make it into a Simon and Garfunkel song. That's awesome.
Yeah. First track on side 2, The Boxer, that's my favorite song on the album.
That's a great song as well.
I love that song. The whole the la 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 la, and that in the background.
Yeah.
I love that.
It gives it like a build up, a grand duet, right?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it as well. I like that song a lot.
That's probably the other most famous song on this album.
Yes, definitely. Those are the two big ones.
Yeah. And it's good lyrics on that one.
I like The Boxer.
Yeah, and it was recorded in several different places. Where was it? It was the longest recording of the duo's career and toughest. The session lasted over 100 hours and took place at several locations. The second main part was in Nashville at Columbia Studios. The third final part and the horns were recorded inside St. Paul's Chapel at Columbia University, which is where Art Garfunkel went to school. And the strings at Columbia Studios. The song features Simon and Fred Carter Jr. playing Martin guitars, which, I mean, you couldn't pick better guitars for this song.
Yeah, that's top of the line right there, Martin.
The echoing drums were played in a corridor. Other instruments included contrabass, tuba, harmonica, and pedal steel guitar, and dobro and piccolo flute.
Damn.
So they incorporated a lot of different things into this song, and I think that's probably another aspect of why I love the song so much.
Fred Carter Jr., man. It talks about the tuning that he used. How it was an unconventional guitar tuning. The guitar is tuned in a standard way, and I guess they were just trying to experiment, and he just kind of was messing around, and they came up with the song, just the two of them, and then they kind of went from there. They had of course, with the different, Simon and Garfunkel, they're just two guys, right? They're just people, right? And you have to think about, when you listen to this album, there's more than two instruments being played. So they had a lot of studio musicians and different musicians from just were famous, not necessarily in bands, but were in like recording studios. Good musicians, they just brought them in and helped them record most of the instruments on this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't there members of the Wrecking Crew on this?
Yeah, they played a lot. Some drums, the drums on a lot of the tracks.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
How many tracks?
Baby Driver. That, I mean, it says it right there. Up tempo and happy rock and roll song, which is exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's cool. It's got a nice guitar part too. The guitar's nice and rocking. It's an acoustic guitar, but it still sounds nice. And you know, that's I don't know why. I guess I was listening to more of the deep cuts than the rest of the famous songs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So this one was one that caught my ear, and I was like, nice, man. I could listen to this, you know, keep listening to it more and more.
I even like the movie that they made. They made the movie and they named it Baby Driver a few years ago. I even like that movie.
I don't know if it has any connection besides the name, but
they used it. They played the song on the end credits.
Oh, okay, nice.
But
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the movie.
I have it, but I haven't watched it yet.
I enjoyed the movie. It's a comedy action. Probably more action than comedy. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed the film. So I thought it was cool. Then the next song is the best song on this album, The Only Living Boy in New York.
I would call this the flip side of Bridge Over Troubled Water. Would you?
I do.
I was gonna say, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, the complete opposite. Yeah, the
yeah.
yin and yang to it, kinda. I love The Only Living Boy in New York, man. You gotta watch Garden State because it fits that movie perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
And I can see him singing that too.
You gotta watch it. I highly recommend it.
They compared it to Rocket Man, which is
that's a pale comparison. I mean,
yeah,
different songs. I feel like Rocket Man's way more poppy.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like,
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear that either.
Maybe in tempo or tone.
Yeah, still.
I like Rocket Man, but I could see Bridge Over Troubled Water and what was it? Let It Be.
Yeah,
I could see that as more as a comparison than Rocket Man and The Only Living Boy in New York.
Yeah,
I'll just say that.
It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
So this one, as you were talking about, it had, Simon's making references to Garfunkel, kind of letting him know, like, hey man, you were working on Catch 22 and I'm here writing songs for this album. Like, where you at, my guy? Like, come on. And I wanted to point this out because this is kind of what we were talking about, how they were kind of pushing the envelope with different recording techniques. It says that the background vocals were recorded together in an echo chamber. I guess it's just some like special echo room, but it was multi-tracked around 8 times.
Wow.
So they did 8 different tracks for background vocals just to get that like full sound. It's pretty.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Wow.
It's awesome. Because it even says right there, recorded 1969, and the album came out in 1970. So it really goes to show how much time they put into
to making it right.
Really making it, really trying to get that sound, mastering it, whatever it may be, engineering it, you know. Hialeah, do you like Why Don't You Write Me?
I think I do. I'm having a hard time remembering which one that was.
That's the one where he's like, oh, I just want you to write me, even if you're telling me that you're leaving me.
Oh no, I don't like those kind of songs.
Yeah. Yes.
I knew you were gonna say something.
Nah, that's a pendejo song.
Yeah.
I don't like pendejo songs. The reason I hate pendejo songs is because I've been a pendejo before, and I don't like going back to that being a pendejo. I don't know if you know what that means, Donnie, but
I think he gets by context clues.
yes, I think you get it by context, and I don't have a lot of regrets in my life, but I hate when I've been a pendejo.
I think we all hate that.
Yeah, you think back, it's like, dude, what the hell was I thinking? How stupid was I? Whatever, it's all good. It's a bridge over troubled water.
And that's why this album works so well, because it's so relatable.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Their first. It goes on to talk about their first performance after the end of Catch 22 when they basically got back together. That's where they recorded Bye Bye Love live. So it was kind of, I don't want to say cathartic, but it makes sense because they're basically they're getting ready to call it quits.
Right.
Yeah. It was a good recording though.
Yeah. Excellent
it sounds
recording.
Good, and I like hearing the crowd in the beginning, like cheering them, and then I think it was, I don't know, I think he maybe says like a specific lyric or something happens in the song where it kind of jumps a bit, and you can hear the crowd like cheer them on, like react to that.
Right.
It was like nice hearing. I was like, oh man, this is cool. This is nice.
Did you guys ever watch Catch 22?
Yeah.
No, that movie came out in the 70s. I know the book, but even the book I haven't read.
It was a book. I never read it as well, but I don't believe I ever got around. I know the movie was a big deal too, so it wasn't like he was just making a whatever movie. I believe that movie was a big deal. I've never seen it though.
It was Oscar nominated.
Yeah.
That was my first introduction to Alan Arkin. That's why I like Alan Arkin as an actor.
Nice.
Well, he was in The Russians Were Coming. The Russians Are Coming, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's where I got to know. That's where I got to know him, and that's where I started enjoying him. But I've never seen Catch 22. Never seen Catch 22.
It's definitely worth sitting down and watching it.
Does he have a big role? Does he have a big role in it, or Garfunkel, or Art?
You know, here's the thing about this that they were talking about. I do not remember what character he played in that movie, but it's a movie you have to watch. You can't be sitting there dicking around on your phone or anything like that. You got to watch the movie because it's a focused type of film.
Yeah, it's one of those smart movies, intellectual films.
Well, it's also a lot of the movies from that time are you gotta sit there and pay attention. You know,
right.
they're not like giving you stuff every single second, so you have to, pay attention, and it comes in. You just got to keep up with it, or else you're gonna miss it. It's not the big bang boom now that everything now is to keep you entertained.
But they, a along with Bye Bye Love, how it was kind of them saying
We're done.
sayonara. Song for the Asking was like that this is goodbye, but not forever. They said it represents the olive branch between the duo, and that they could come back in the future, in which, history shows that they have several times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were just going off to do different things. It didn't mean, it wasn't a bad breakup. I guess
Right.
it was a good breakup.
Right.
They grew apart, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. They
So
grew.
look at all those musicians on there.
Yeah. Los Incas, which I believe is who introduced the song to them.
Probably, yeah.
El Condor Pasa.
That is so cool.
Hal Blaine, I think he's part of the Wrecking Crew on drums and percussion.
Yeah, the drummer. Jimmy Haskell was a prominent session musician. Charlie McCoy. Then you said about you mentioned Fred Carter.
Yeah.
But this album was enormously successful.
It was huge.
Enormously successful.
Oh yes.
I mean, it peaked at number one in, I think I counted 11 countries, and the only country that didn't peak at number one was Italy.
Wow, that's crazy. Look at the year.
Those Italians don't like Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Look at
And
that. Even Japan, UK, France, Australia. Wow, that's insane.
And it continued to chart over the next 2 years too, as well.
Wow.
Go down to the singles.
Look at that decade end charts. UK albums, 1970 to 1979. It was number one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And the anniversary edition in 2011, it even charted on the Billboard 200. So it's like
an album that came out in the 1970s. Yeah. An album that came out in the 1970s, 41 years later, was still able to be in the US top 200.
That's nuts. And the singles.
Yeah. I mean, the singles did overwhelmingly well.
What made The Boxer so popular? Was it in a movie later on in the days, or?
I
don't know. It must have been something, but
I don't know. I just know I love that song. Because it was a single, but they don't give any chart positions for the single for it as a single, which is interesting. 8 times platinum. This has gone in the United States. 25 million records worldwide. So it's definitely one of those.
It's one of the big boys. It's one of the biggest ever. Yeah. Definitely. It hit a chord.
Yeah. 8 times platinum. That's a lot of albums sold.
They could just think about this. they stepped away after this album, man.
Mm-hmm.
God, how do you do that?
Well,
Yeah,
the police did it.
Yeah, I mean they don't know. We don't know the success until the long lasting effect of the success until way later.
Yeah.
So I guess they weren't really thinking like, and for them being those two types of like creative artsy types of guys, where they want to do it for the music or for the art itself.
Yeah.
They were probably not too work. They probably didn't want to continue being heroes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they were probably better off like, if I'm gonna focus on acting, let me focus on acting. And Simon was still able to do his.
Yeah. Right. Rather than be held to that same standard.
Yes. And honest, they could go do whatever they wanted after the success of this album, and it would be all good. You didn't have to have that pressure of trying to one up it, and you could live off of this album and do everything you really wanted to. So
Right.
it's really a freedom that it gave them, going out on top kind of thing. And
honestly, with their career with the 5 albums, they really did everything that
yes,
they could do, really.
yeah,
As a duo, so it makes sense that they would, call it quits.
yeah. Still surprised it was in 70.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was that long ago.
Yeah.
But that's another parallel to, I guess, to the Beatles. Their career was,
They had done the most they could, right?
it was quick. Yeah.
It was 8 years.
Yeah.
They were a band together for 8. The Beatles were only a band together for 8 years.
That's crazy when you think about it, right?
Yeah, they toured their first 4 years, and then the last 4 years they didn't tour. So it was like 4 and 4.
Unheard of. And people are still talking about it. Everybody still compares to them, or they're very Beatlesque.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. So just and they were a boy band at the start, but they just went to a whole different level after that. It's like what Javi says: the first 4 years, and then the next 4 years, it was 2 different bands.
Yeah, I want to just add, if I'm going to add just one last thing or one more thing, it would be how Donnie, you mentioned it earlier in the show. Like, we talk about this album, going through the songs and stuff like that, but there's no way we could talk about the instrumentation, like how Donnie mentioned earlier in the stream. There's like so much kind of going on, and every song almost has a different sound to it, like different sort of whatever creativity or whatever, mix of instruments they want to use for that song.
Right.
Which is probably the most impressive thing that caught my attention for the listening through the album.
And it still sounds cohesive.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like garbage or junk just thrown together. It sounds it sounds good,
It's not like
this
song doesn't fit. This song really doesn't. You don't get that. You don't get that.
You'll hear like a cello in one of the songs, right? And you're like, oh, like this is cool,
okay.
Okay, like I can see what they're trying, what they're doing, where they're going with this, different bells and percussion instruments, and really, really impressive stuff for that. But it's still very folky at the same time.
It doesn't lose the folk. You just it's still them. It's still them at their core.
Yeah, they maintain their character.
Yeah. We could say that they didn't sell out. Is that what we want to say? They didn't sell out.
No,
They
not at all.
they
Not at
stayed
all.
with themselves.
That
They
works
didn't
for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
very surprising, and it's very
they
surprising.
didn't sell out. The album did.
Yeah, it's very
The album-
surprising for them to be the producers of it, and for Columbia to let them just have that creative freedom,
Yeah.
and look at how successful it was.
Yeah. Good pick.
Which I guess, in a sense, it may have opened the doors a little bit for other bands to allow that creativity
Yeah,
to swing. We were talking about the different instruments earlier, and creativity with instruments, and in a sense, we wouldn't have synthesizers if somebody wouldn't have played around with it, you know.
yeah.
So look at all the great shit that came out of synthesized music.
And they hated it when they first started coming out, right?
Yeah,
Oh, they're using a synthesizer.
yeah.
Oh,
Pink Floyd. Ugh.
they're using a synthesizer. That's not music. That's not a band. They're just
Yeah. A couple years later, Yes, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Rush, it was all synthesized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then New Wave. That's all they use is synthesizers.
Oh my God, yeah.
British New Wave.
Bands like Berlin and
Often synthesizer. Those aren't
The Flocking Seagulls.
the Flocking Seagulls, Talking Heads.
That's not a band. It's freaking good music, man.
Berlin has that one good song, The Metro.
Yeah.
The Metro. That's a great song.
That's a badass song.
They were playing 3 synthesizers on that song. Crazy.
The video's good too. I enjoyed the video.
What do you guys think for anything else that you want to mention, or any last thoughts or on the album?
Every week we do this, and it's like I feel so bad. I've never heard this album.
That's the purpose of the show, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard songs on the albums, but I've never heard the whole albums.
From now on, moving forward, you don't have to feel bad if you've never heard the album.
Right.
But I'll probably keep saying it every week.
as at least you're listening, at least I never heard this album. At least I listened to it and gave it that chance, because I would never go and listen. Oh, Simon and Garfunkel, let me listen to this today,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you have it on vinyl, Donnie?
No.
No,
I have it on CD, but it's in the box over there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I never listened to this one either.
I've heard their hits, but I've never heard the whole album.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have heard it if it wasn't for this book.
Nice.
Okay.
This is VH1 100 Greatest Album. This is one of those Barnes & Noble's discount books.
Yeah.
But I believe it was in here.
I have a few of those books. I don't have that particular one, and I still haven't listened to the albums. Dude, I think I got something here. What up? What do I got here?
So many great albums in here. Now their rankings, I don't care for their rankings.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah.
As much as I love the Beatles' Revolver, that doesn't belong at number 1. I'm sorry.
I got not this one, but I got this. It's a
big book.
It's the Rolling Stone Encyclopedia of Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
And it just shows like every artist in here, until this, and it's even rap, everything.
Wow, that's nice. That's cool.
Yeah, I have that book.
I probably haven't picked it up in a while.
I have that one and the album version too.
Yeah, and I also got remember when Rolling Stone came out like with their top 500 albums, top 500
Yeah.
singles, and all? I got that as well. And I guess back when those were coming out, I was doing it, but I guess I should have done it. Paid more attention to it. Gone a little deeper.
I don't know where it's at in this.
You should take like a
look it up.
Like a, I don't know if you have percentile dice or something, like 2 10-sided dice and roll each time to see what number it falls on, and we'll do that one. They'll do that album. Or take like, I don't know, pick a number 1 through 100 randomizer, or 200, I should say.
It was ranked number 33 in this.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of albums I hadn't heard before I bought this book. 14 years ago.
And they have which one? Revolver is number 1?
Yeah. Yeah, the top 10s were
Taxman.
Love that
song. The top 10 was Revolver, Nevermind, Pet Sounds, What's Going On, Are You Experienced, Rubber Soul, which is my favorite Beatles album. Songs in the Key of Life.
Nice. That's one you guys
one for
did.
Puff.
Yeah.
Abbey Road, Blonde on Blonde, and Sgt. Pepper's. So they had 4 Beatles albums.
4 Beatles albums. That's insane. What's Blonde by Blonde?
Bob Dylan.
That's Bob Dylan.
Oh, okay. Another guy who I've never, like that folky genre. I was never.
You never heard like Blood on the Tracks?
I think I've heard it, but even you letting me know that name, I'm just like, it doesn't come to mind.
Blood on Tracks, Blonde on Blonde's great.
Yeah. See, I know Blood on the Tracks.
Yeah.
Oh, that album is freaking. I remember it was my brother's divorce album.
Hey, that works.
That's when he went acoustic, or when he went electric, isn't it?
I think so. And
hey, that's a controversial.
Yeah. A lot of people weren't happy that he did it.
No, a lot of the hippies during that time were not happy with it.
Donnie, they had Nevermind at number 2?
Yeah.
By Nirvana?
Wow.
Which to me, In Utero is the better album, but whatever.
I like In Utero.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I don't know if Nirvana will be there if they did that again.
Maybe I think Nirvana is underrated. I think in like 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, I think Nirvana is gonna like be super famous. I think.
I agree with you. I think they were the best of those bands, definitely.
Even for being like just I guess rock band in general, just being a band in general, right? Music, like
yeah.
Like I remember at the time, I wasn't as big into Nirvana. I was more of a bigger Pearl Jam. And now I look back and it's like, dude, Nirvana's where it's at, dude.
Yeah. All right, so we're doing Nirvana next, In Utero. No, we got to do more albums where we haven't been introduced to, I guess, or
yeah, I like it.
Into in a while. Either way works. We can go down 2 different kind of.
I like it when it's something I don't know. Actually, it's cool. Are we doing a season 2, Donnie?
That's the plan. I don't know when.
That's fine. That's fine.
We'll figure it out.
Sounds good. Dude. Whenever you're ready. I'm taking a little break myself, so I totally feel it. I totally feel you.
But a couple people mentioned it in the comments. I hit 300. So
yes, 300 subs, man! Congrats.
I'm going to do a giveaway contest, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not going to do it till after I come back. So that'll be the first video I do when I come back to it.
You're gonna be doing a Luke Cage 8.0 CGC giveaway, aren't you? For your 300.
No, but I'm sure he'll do something, if not as good, better than that. So
sorry for just putting you out there, buddy. I'm sorry for putting you out there. I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I can't remember what it was.
Well, we can't wait till you're back. We can't wait till that 300 subscriber video or that giveaway video, and to be back here, man, doing more of these shows.
This is fun. This is fun, man.
Yeah, I love this, man.
Yeah, it's super chill. I enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I just like talking about music.
Me too. Honestly,
that's what I always have.
Yeah, I know. Get to nerd out about some music talk.
I don't know. I know what I know.
Yeah.
About music, and that's more than what I know about comic books.
Hey, and on that note, it's going back to this album, Paul Simon. I don't know what was this? Edie Brickell, his wife. She had the song. I don't know. Oh my God, she sang this song. You don't know Edie Brickell, his wife, Simon's wife, his second wife. She was the lead singer in Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. And oh my God, I can't get the right tone on the song. I know a lot about philosophy. It's a talk on a cereal box. Religion. Oh, Javi just jumped off. I know I can't get the rhythm of the song, but she had that one hit, and it was kind of like that. I don't know a lot about anything, but I do know this. So you kind of like I feel like I'm the novice. I just know what I like and what I don't like, and I just like sitting here. And you guys are they used what was the guitar that you mentioned, Donnie, and how
the Martin guitar.
Right, I'm like okay. So I like that. I just know what I like, what I don't like, and I don't care if it's okay if other people don't like it or it's all good. But I like sitting here and hearing you guys, the sound, and it was done 8 times. I'm like, sounds impressive.
That's the part of the show that I like. I mean,
I like it too, listening to you guys talk about it, though. You know,
yeah.
The deep dive into basically the story behind the albums. I really enjoy learning that aspect of it because I've listened to a lot of music, but there's still a lot out there that I have not heard, and I'm hoping somebody brings something in that I haven't heard. Like Puff, I had heard that album before, but it's not one I listened to a lot.
Right.
So I was glad that he chose that album so that I could revisit it. Or I had a that's pathetic, but I had a definitive reason to revisit that album. Just like the Black Sabbath, I hadn't heard Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I hadn't listened to it in quite a while. So I was inspired to go and listen to it.
Of course. Like Black Sabbath, listening to Black Sabbath was cool. Hey, Dave Enrique, it goes, I think your comment just got me to go. It goes, I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know. If you know what I mean, philosophy. There's a talk on a cereal box, religion. Oh, and that
I remember that song now.
I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know. If you know
what you are is what you are, or what?
Yeah, I'm what you are, or what? Yeah, that was it.
That's great.
That's Paul Simon's. I think they're still married. I think they got together. She stopped her career, and I believe they're still together. So that's pretty cool. Edie Brickell.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was who he married. No idea.
Yeah, I had no. Yeah, I don't think I've heard that song. I gotta check it out though.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you'll hear that song and you'll be singing it all day tomorrow. It just gets stuck in your head.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs. Yeah, I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know. You know what I mean.
You helped
All
him, man. We got it. You guys got it. It's teamwork.
That wraps the 10th episode up of Cover to Cover. Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water. A great album, massive album. Definitely worth checking out, listening to, diving deep into, learning about all the different things that went into it, the story behind it, as this previous 9 albums that we've done. If you haven't checked those videos out, go give them a look. Go check those albums out, and I look forward to doing several more albums in the future. Hopefully, we bring some amazing albums into this. I know there's a lot out there. There's a lot of shit albums too, but we can still give them attention if somebody wants to.
And somebody's hit is another person's. Hey, this is my favorite album of all time. You know, it's all good. It's all good.
So again, this is my last. This is the season finale. This is my last video for a little while. I'm going to take a break, and we'll come back and hopefully stronger and with the same passion for music and books and what have you, all the things we like. And I want to, what do you guys have going on your channel before I cut her off?
I'm taking a break as well, man. I'm this was my last commitment for this month, and I think I'll be back sometime in April. Hopefully on the Start Me Up show, the next season 2 premiere sometime in early April. So I'm taking a break as well, Donnie. So I'm there with you, man.
Nice.
So it's all good.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat as you guys. I mean, we'll see if we have Silver Age Sunday tomorrow. That'll probably be around 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, maybe a little later, 3:30. We'll see if it happens. I'm gonna try to plan it with the mightiest panel of them all, and then the Start Me Up show will start back up in April. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, season two, and we got some stuff coming up in that show. So I'm looking forward to that in April.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody who popped in the chat, who watches this on the rewind. Definitely check this album out. Check the other albums that we've done out, and just get out there and listen to some music.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace. Be well.